Well, the Astros did it. They won 6 in a row. The Rockies were not difficult to beat, but they only had scoring in 1 inning. It's okay because the Mariners lost as well. The Astros edged closer to 500, and we'll talk about it on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you. Join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Guys, thank you for making us part of your daily routine. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go ahead and hit that little red button down there that says subscribe. Give us a big fat thumbs up and make us part of your daily routine on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. Today's episode of Locked On Astros is brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your debt, your tax debt, and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. Brett, this was a very exciting game. It's a game that you probably could never fall asleep in. Where can they find you while you're watching this game?
Man, you can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse at X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on Facebook and on X. And you can find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Look, I'm always positive, always Stros. I'm positive whether you fell asleep watching this game, whether you were doing something while watching this game, that if you just watched the first inning, you were like, this game is going to be 20-0 Astros. And they did win 5-2, but it's not how you win, it's if you win. And I thought the way they won wasn't terrible either, because you clearly put up a crooked number and you were able to defend it. And the number of runs that they've scored in the first inning are almost equal to the numbers of runs that have been scored on them in the first inning, where at one point it was like a 3-1 ratio. So I'm okay with today. Hunter Brown was phenomenal. Everybody just did their job. And sometimes you've got to win with a few runs. And the 5 runs was just enough against this Colorado Rockies team.
Just think about it. The Astros on June 18th, it wasn't that long ago, the Astros were 10 games behind the Mariners. Now they are on June 25th. They are 4.5 games behind the Mariners. And so they are within striking distance of the Mariners. If they win the next 2 games, they could finish the midpoint of the season with a winning record. That's a big thing. I know it's 1 game over 500, whatever, but the whole goal is to reach 500. But it would just mean something for this team at the halfway mark to reach to go ahead and have a winning record at the halfway mark. And this is what I know. We laughed at him, and I don't want to use the word mocked Dana Brown, but remember, he kept on saying, oh, this team will go on this streak. This team is too good. We believe in this team. We know these guys can do it. They've reeled off 6 straight wins, and they are doing something when the Mariners have dropped 3 games in a row. You've had the Rangers drop 2 games in a row. And so it's just, you have the teams losing that you need to lose. I believe that right. The Royals have lost a couple games as well. So you're winning at the right time, and they struggled to start the season. The strength of schedule, that was a factor. The teams that they played to start the season. And I remember looking at the schedule last year, and I'm like, wow, that's a hard schedule the Astros were given. It's like somebody in the scheduling office does not like the Houston Astros. But now it's starting to kind of lighten up, and the Astros are cashing in. They're cashing in all the receipts, so to speak, and they're taking care of business. And they're playing better baseball. They're doing it without some of their best starters too. Justin Verlander, we'll give you an update on him in a little bit. But you brought up earlier, the Astros score 5 runs and you thought this game would be a blowout. But then the Rockies just kind of settled them down, and they didn't do it with the long ball. They did it with a bunch of singles. And this is the type of offensive output you like to see from the Astros.
Right.
Yeah, chicks dig the long ball. Yes, you want to see Alvarez crush a homer, Bregman crush a homer, the leadoff home run by Altuve. You love those. But to get consistent hits up and down your lineup, this is what helps the Astros win. And that the power will come. But what we saw today is a good sign for your Houston Astros.
Yeah, exactly. Very well said. You have to set yourself up to win, and how do you do that? If your pitcher is not giving up hits and put up zeros, you have to put up the numbers, and they did that tonight. I'll talk about Hunter Brown in a second, but with this offense, if you go ahead and look at the Chas McCormick was in the lineup tonight, and Chas McCormick was second in wins probability added.
Right.
With 7.9, Hunter Brown 16.3, Yainer Diaz 6.6, and so this was very much a great game. Yordan Alvarez added a home run in the game. He hit another long ball. You notice he's been hitting the long ball a lot more lately, but you love to see what this bullpen can do. The bullpen did give up. Seth Martinez surrendered a run. Josh Hader surrendered a run. But they did enough to get out of this ball game and not surrender the lead. Jake Myers 3 for 4 today. Jose Altuve 2 for 4 today. The guy just keeps getting hits. And Jerry Pena went 0 for 3. He had a walk. Dubon was a rare 0 for 4 today. Has average dipped to 292. And Loperfido was 0 for 3. So you had a few guys in there not hitting, but you had Chas in there doing what needed to be done. Yainer doing what needed to be done. And Yainer called an excellent game, Eric. I'm amazed. Like, Hunter Brown has put in 6 consecutive quality starts, 6 consecutive starts of 6 innings or more. And he had 20 swings and misses today. That's huge. This kid is pitching just phenomenally. And Ronel Blanco is no longer the only constant on this pitching staff. We Fromber's had bright spots, but nobody's been more consistent than Ronel. Now Hunter Brown has become that guy, and we need that to happen because Justin Verlander is still out. And so it's good to see the guys are playing loose. They're having fun. They got one more game tomorrow before they have another off day. So this is a great week to take advantage of. And then they'll head to New York and head to, I believe on a 10-game road trip. So they need to squarely put themselves in a winning position to keep on winning. I mean, who says they can't go on the road and roll off another 5 or 6 in a row on the road? They haven't been playing as good on the road as they typically do. But this team, when they're hitting their stride, they're dangerous against any opponent.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll go ahead and go a little bit deeper into how good Hunter Brown has been doing in a little bit. But yes, it's definitely a noticeable difference. And the fact that with all the injuries that the Astros have dealt with, Hunter Brown, from where he was to where he is now, it's amazing. And it just props to the Houston Astros for not losing their patience, sending him down AAA, and just giving up on their young pitcher, because a lot of teams would have done that. So I'm going to go ahead and give you what exactly he's done in his last 7 starts, how good he's done exactly since in June and since May. I'll give you some exact numbers because, dude, it's eye-opening. So we'll go ahead and talk about that in a second. But guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out and become an everydayer.
This episode is brought to you by eBay. Passion Motor Passion, drive, and patience is the formula for winning championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive with eBay Motors, with millions of parts for your MVP. Look, eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and keep it at peak performances. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 parts for your 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car an MVP and bring home the huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, available for U.S. customers. And this episode is also brought to you by LinkedIn. Let me tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It is a great tool, especially if you are a business-to-business seller. You know how tough it is if you're struggling to close deals. Well, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is here and offers an intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-value customers, drive high revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people that matter. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon. Start today.
Guys, we appreciate all the everydayers out there. Go and check out Michael Connor with the Locked On Astros postcast as well. If you can't get enough Locked On Astros talk, go ahead and go check out the Locked On Astros postcast as well. Brett, the Astros are on fire. They won 6 in a row. They are 1 game under 500. This is the second time all season that they've been 1 game under 500 since they started the season 0-1 against the Yankees. We all remember that game. We were both at opening day, and that was a disaster of opening day. We had all the hopes and everything, and we go to opening day. Then we're like, this is crap. But Hunter Brown, his season got off to it wasn't the best start. He had a 10 ERA in May. But since May, he has been a totally different pitcher. He developed his sinker. His ERA has been 2.20 across 57.1 innings. So this is exactly what he's done. In his last 7 starts, 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 runs. 7 innings, 5 hits, 0 runs. 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 runs. He has been very impressive. He has a 1.16 ERA in June. I haven't looked at all the pitchers in June, but he could be making a case for the pitcher of the month in June. So I think that 100%. What he's been doing is just impressive. Just when the Astros needed him, especially with Justin Verlander going out. We'll give you an update in a second about Verlander. Christian Javier, we don't know what's going on. We know he'll be out for a while. We know that that Urquidy's going to be out for a while. So I think that the rise of Hunter Brown is going to be exactly what the Astros need.
Yeah, it's really going to hinge on what is going to happen with Justin Verlander. It is going to, because when Garcia and McCullers come back, Eric, if they're counting on them to be a key starter when they come back, I really think that's hoping for a lot. You've got Ronel Blanco reaching his innings limit. You got Arrighetti, who's going to be pitching more than he's ever pitched. So it's important that Hunter Brown not only does this, but keeps it going. And this is why, Dana Brown says that they are going to be looking for starters. And when you look at the White Sox, Eric, it's not just, Crochet who is out there, because I don't know that he's a realistic target, but a friend of mine was telling me that that they have a guy, Eric Fried, Eric Fetty, sorry. He is 6-2 this year for the White Sox. He is a guy that is a little bit lower cost arm that you could go out and get. The White Sox surprisingly have a really solid pitching staff. They just have no offense.
Right.
And so the Astros go out and get someone like that. They're probably going to have to give up something. I don't see them giving up Myers. I don't see them giving up Loperfido. They could give up a DeCenzo or, someone, but they're going to need to go get somebody, because this team is going to be looking for ways to get starters in there. Dubin is tabbed as a possible starter in New York for the last game of that series. They haven't announced it or said anything, but AJ Blueball was just pitcher of the week in the PCL. Could he be brought up from Sugarland? So there are some issues, but it's good. The guys that you do have that are pitching solid. My only concern going forward is how do they lessen the workload on the arms that haven't gone as far, and how do they make that happen? But I trust the Astros. I trust the process, and I trust that they've got an advanced plan well beyond what I could imagine right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they already have kind of idea, but like I've said before, it's kind of sucks to be a fringe player on the Astros. They are trying to win. And if you're that kind of 40th guy on the roster, you're likely going to be DFA'd at some point, because they're trying to find the right fit. And if they can't if you're not the right fit, they've already shown it. They're willing to let anybody go with Jose Abreu. So if they're willing to let a veteran, a leader like Jose Abreu go, anybody's up for grabs. So I think we've seen a lot better play from players like Alex Bregman. Not that I think that they're going to let him go at any point, but you've seen the team take a whole better step. And they're still not striking out a lot, but we'll talk about in a little bit. The Astros are actually up this year in their chase rate. They're still not striking out a lot, but they're like Jake Myers is swinging a lot at the first pitch, and he's actually having a lot of success. But with that success, you're going to miss it a lot. And so there's a lot of things that come with swinging, being a little bit too aggressive. And maybe that would explain what the Astros have been going on. But before we get to that, I do want to get to some people in the chat. We're talking about Kyle Tucker, Justin Verlander, some updates. So Kyle Tucker did hit off a tee Sunday, and the hope is that he starts running in the next few days. In other words, he is barely just starting baseball activities. It's going to be a while before they put that horse on the track and he's able to start playing baseball. Even if he does, that horse is going to be going to Sugarland or Corpus Christi to get some playing time before he's ready to face major league pitching.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think I know what you're referencing is the excellent article that Chandler Rome wrote about, because he had talked about. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the third segment. Let's go and finish the injury update. So, Espada says that we still got to get rid of that soreness. Anytime he wants to take that hard step, that's what's hurting him. So we know, as somebody that pretends to know how to play baseball sometimes, when you're going in to make that run in, make that catch, or try to make that to hit the ball really far and it pops up, like I do. But you have to make that hard step. And that's what he's having issues with right now. And so it's still that bruise in the bone area that's preventing him from putting the full effort. So
now, did you hear about Caratini? Aren't they expecting him to be back at the end of the 15-day IL stint?
No, they're still saying
They're not?
about 3 to 4 weeks. So the
Oh,
question is, like, should they rush him back? Cesar Salazar looks pretty good. So
yeah,
why
I
rush him
don't
back? Give
no, you
him
don't need to.
time to you have the All-Star break coming up. So why don't you just go ahead and let him recover, let him get to 100%, and then after the All-Star break, go ahead and bring him up. So no, I haven't seen him. I think that he's still going to be on the IL. So um, in terms of Verlander, he's still dealing with that neck discomfort,
Yeah.
and they had some imaging. There was some imaging done, but he didn't offer any further specifics on the energy. So what Espada said, what I'm getting is he's just got a stiff neck, that area of his neck, and we're just getting slow progress from him right now. So he's still no throw. In
Hmm.
other words, he's not going to be pitching anytime soon.
Yeah, that's not fun to hear because, Justin Verlander, and I don't know. I mean, he's gonna cut it close on making that innings limit that he's trying to reach. But
Yeah.
yeah, and we'll talk more about the Astros swinging too much because I thought it was interesting. I've read the same article and actually spoke to Chandler on Back to the Bullpen about it, and he said, "Hey, I've got this article coming out. It's really interesting." And just really good investigative work on his part.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about that in a second.
This episode is brought to you by Tax Network USA. Here at Locked On, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, for the Houston Astros, whether it's off season, during the season, draft, spring training, playoffs. I mean, look, it's year round, right? So you know what else is year round? That's collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS is going to stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. I know with my situation, with my self-employed status as well, my regular job, there are things that I could probably miss. And that's why I get people that have 14 years experience and A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season, need help filing that correctly, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/locked on. See the link in the episode description below.
Hey guys, let me tell you a little bit about PrizePicks. It's one of my favorite ways to play daily fantasy sports. It's actually the only way I like to do it. It's the number one daily fantasy sports app out there. 5 million active members, and it's not like other things where you're playing your buddies, you're playing other things. You're playing the numbers. You're just picking a pitcher. You're picking somebody that is, let's say, Framber Valdez. How deep is he going to go in this game? You can go, okay, I think he's going to get 21 pitching outs. You can go to the over or the under, or you can say strikeouts over, under, and home runs. Will Alvarez have 0.5 home runs or not? And so that's what I love about PrizePicks is you can do the research. You can pick exactly the players that you want to go with. And it's just an awesome experience. So download the PrizePicks apps today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That code is LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for the deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's just that easy, and play it. Brett and I do it, and we love it. All right, Brett. I'm really excited about where the Astros are right now. I think that
Definitely.
this is the team that we thought they would be. They got off to a rocky start. Pardon the pun for them playing the Rockies, but this was a bad start to the season. I think there was a mixture of the team wasn't maybe feeling comfortable, maybe with the new manager. Maybe they're just trying to get used to things. I don't know what happened, but it seems like they're starting to gel a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
We're hearing a lot less of, well, Espada this, well, Espada this. And so it's more about the players now. And that's what you're supposed to be focusing
Winning,
on.
well, winning cures everything. And
Right.
and look, I think Joe Espada's been in probably one of the toughest predicaments that you could put a new manager in. Does he know the clubhouse culture? 100%. Does he know the players? Yes. But who would have thought that he would go through an injury just list of players that are down, players that they don't have available. On top of that, you have got, like we're about to talk about, the Astros being more aggressive at the plate. And he's talked about it, and Dana's talked about it. We want our guys to be more selective. We want them to take more pitches. Their pitches that they've taken per season this is the lowest that they've been in pitches taken per season in the last 6 or 7 years. And so this is unlike this team, even though they still strike out fewer than most teams, they're still chasing, which means they're putting the ball in play. But it's not necessarily working. Like, it's working out, but it's not working out. And the thing I like about this Chandler Rome article is he talked with both Snitker and Centrone, and they've been confounded themselves. What have we heard, Eric? Fire the hitting coaches, fire the pitching coaches, fire this guy,
fire Jeff Bagwell.
But yeah, fire Jeff Bagwell. But right here, he says these two hitting coaches oversee the offense that boasts baseball's highest batting average and has amassed more hits than any American League team. No lineup in the sport strikes out less often, but only 3 have a higher slugging percentage. Basically, what's happened is they've become really almost hyper aggressive at the plate. So that can be good if you're Jose Altuve in the leadoff home run. But then again, your other batters behind you probably need to see more pitches. And now things are starting to work out for the Astros. And I'll give this quote and then I'll hand it over to you. He said, this is from Alex. He said, Troy and I talk about this. It seems like we're one of the worst hitting teams in the big leagues because of the record we have and how we've been playing. And so this team has got pitching injuries, all these other things going on, but they've been ultra aggressive. So what else is there to this that even Alex Bregman has talked about?
Well, he says our whole offense needs to take more pitches. We swing too much. And Jake Meyer says we have this perfect storm almost of each hitter being similar. I'm not saying every hitter is the same, but in terms of we all have the same approach hitting. We all seem to be pretty aggressive. Look at your leadoff hitter. Jose Altuve is one of the most aggressive hitters in baseball. First pitch home runs. How many times does he do that? And so it's just like it's contagious when your best player, Jose. I know a lot of people might say, well, Kyle Tucker is the best player. Alvarez is best player, but the leader even though he may not be the team leader, but the veteran leader is Jose Altuve. And if he's aggressive, you see the guys on the teams being like, well, I could be aggressive if this is working for Altuve. And that's just part of his nature. And if Espada goes up to Altuve and be like, hey, I want you to go ahead and stop swinging. I want you to take more pitches. That's going to change who he is. And some of these players, that's what they do. They're just, if I see the ball high, I'm going to try it, especially Altuve. He likes to hit the ball up at his eyes for some reason and club it to the Crawford boxes.
It's amazing to me when he hits those home runs and you look at the replay, and no offense, the guy is 5'5", and that pitch comes in at 5'9", and he absolutely he powers the ball out. But I just thought this was a really good insight, because right here, Centrone says we would love to have guys be more passive and walk more. 4 lineups walk less than the Astros. Those 7.3% walk rate would be their lowest. Okay, the Astros 7.3% walk rate would be their lowest in any full season since 2013. Only 2 teams chase outside the strike zone more frequently. Perhaps the most disturbing number of some of these downward trends is reliance on more unproven hitters that has inflated the number, but uncharacteristic zone expansion from Altuve and from Alvarez is basically creating the bigger problem. And we've seen Alvarez go out and expand the strike zone a lot. I mean, Altuve has struck out quite a bit.
Mhm.
And I think people are like, why is he pressing? And I don't necessarily know that it's their pressing. I think it's they're like, I want to hit the ball. Growing up, you go through different phases of Little League, and you get to the one phase where it's the first year of kid pitch, and it is the most difficult sport to watch as a parent, because you'll literally watch each team have like 23 walks, and then you'll have your coaches who just want to win, and so they'll tell their kids, don't swing. And then you'll have like 13 walks in one inning. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then you have like our teams, we just like, look, if it's close, swing at it. So our
Right.
kids are striking out, not getting many at bats, but we're like, if they're not going to swing, they're not going to hit. So, obviously we're talking major leagues, but it is interesting that they have as few walks as they do. But imagine if they took more walks, I bet you they wouldn't have the record they have.
Yeah, and also think about the start to the season. They were striking out left and right, and they were actually at the top in strikeouts to start the season. They have cut that back down, and now they're back down at the bottom where they normally are. But Jake Myers, you ready for this? He is, I think, let me get the number again, but he is 24 for 51 this season, swinging on first pitch. So
Yeah.
he's got a 470 batting average when swinging on first pitch. So
Keep
if I
swinging,
was
kid.
Joe Espada, I'd be like, swing at the first pitch every time, kid. You got the green light, go for it. But the Astros chase rate has increased every year since 2021. And this is, I don't know if this is alarming or just showing that maybe some of them are losing bat speed. Maybe some of it has to do with Jose Abreu being here the last two seasons, but it's gone up from 25.7, 29.20, 30, 31.50. Granted, the last 3 years, it's not that big a difference, but from 2021 to 2022, that was a big difference. So maybe the Astros are going more for the home run or whatever's going on, but I think that definitely they're being a little bit more aggressive, and at times it is costing them. So I guess we're going past 32 minutes on this one, so we can continue talking. So,
No,
but
it's all good. But no, I think this is necessary for us to talk about and to bring up, because until Chandler Rome put it the way he did in his article, I didn't really think about that aspect of it, because you do have one of the leading offenses in the major leagues, and home runs and all that stuff, but you also have them not getting on base. And it's like the old line in Moneyball, whenever they bring in, Billy Bean brings in the assistant GM, who is played by Jonah. He comes in and he goes, but why do we want him? And he's like, points at him and he goes, because he gets on base, right?
right.
And it's about getting on base, because when a runner gets on base, the possibilities are endless. So imagine a few walks here or there. How many one-run games has this team lost this year? And how many times have we seen this team first pitch pop up, first pitch ground out, get guy on second and third, first pitch ground out to second base, into the inning, just rally killer. And I've seen these hitters swing at pitchers that are not controlling the zone. I'm like, wait, the guy just threw 6 balls and you swung at the first 3 pitches. Why did you do that? I mean,
Right.
at least take one of those. So that right there, if they can figure out what's going on with that, if they can up their on base percentage, their walk percentage, this team really has the ability to do things that we didn't think they were capable of doing because of what we've seen. The proof is always in the pudding, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah. And so I know Supreme Panda was talking about the news that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is willing to waive his no trade clause to the Yankees. I did see that, and that would make sense because Anthony Rizzo is hurt right now, but at the same time, he is not having the best season. So the Yankees, if you're looking at any flaw to their roster, I would say that it is starts at first base. So I could see that the Yankees would be upgrading there. I know a lot of people would say the Astros could upgrade at first base there, but I think I've seen some reports about Tariq Skubal being a target for the Astros. I think the Astros may have the bullets for one trade, one big
Yeah.
minor big trade. If that's I don't see them going after a big name, but I think they're going to go get something.
Skubal is one of your leading candidates to win the Cy Young. I don't think you get a big fish like that, like this guy from the White Sox. Just look at the teams that are underperforming and go to their pitching staffs and look at Garrett Crochet may be a possibility. The problem is Garrett Crochet has 2 years of team control. So that is going to come at a premium. You're going to need to get a mid-level guy. If you could get a 2 or a 3, go out there, do that. You're going to have to probably give up somebody you don't necessarily want to give up, but you're not going to see them give up Bryce Matthews. They are probably not going to give up some of their more, promising prospects like AJ Blueball. But what is the asking price? And the asking price is probably higher because you know why? Demand is higher. More teams are fighting for the playoffs. So now you have a market that's not necessarily flooded with free agents. It's flooded with people looking for assets. And you have other teams like the Orioles and such that have greater assets to give. So,
and it doesn't help that Patrick Sandoval and Jesus Luzardo went on IL. So some of the
because those were
names,
arms, those were names that you would look at getting. And Patrick Sandoval started out as a Houston Astros prospect in their system.
Yeah. So to kind of close out the show before we kind of preview tomorrow's game, I think we could get this in under 40 minutes. But Luis Garcia, he could begin a rehab assignment this weekend. So Joe Espada was asked, well, how many rehab starts will Garcia get? He said it depends on how he feels, how he bounces back. And so he could rejoin the rotation in late July. So I think that's a good, I think he's probably, in my opinion, I would say it's coming back from Tommy John. I would say about 4 to 5 starts in the minor leagues. And Lance McCullers, Espada says we're still trying to get him through some sides here and hopefully get some live BPs. He's still not quite there yet.
It's going to be a while for him and Garcia. I know everybody wants him back right after the All-Star break. Guys, this is still a 15 or 16-month recovery for what they're going through. But, tomorrow's game, Eric, is a day game, a one-team game. Spencer Arrighetti versus Ryan Feltner. I don't know much about Ryan Feltner. I do know he sports a slider, a changeup, and a four-seam. He relies heavily on his four-seam and his slider. His changeup only 14% of the time. He has one of the highest walk rates. He has a pretty low K percent, and he's got a pretty decent expected batting average against him. And so people hit the ball. They hit hard hit balls off of him 39% of the time. So if Arrighetti can go in there and do his job, and the Astros can jump on this Ryan Feltner early, the Astros can get back to 500. Because they've had their way with the Rockies at home, averaging almost 7 runs per game in the last 20-something, contest against them at Minute Maid Park.
Well, Hummel is batting 500 against Feltner in 2 at-bats. So there's a chance that we could see him in tomorrow's game. And Feltner does have a 1-6 record, 6.02 ERA. So, but Arrighetti sports a 3-6 record with a 6.36 ERA. You don't really know what you're going to get with Arrighetti. You can get somebody that goes out there and does what Hunter Brown did, or you're going to see somebody that's going to give up a whole bunch of runs and exit early. That's what a rookie starter normally goes through in his first year. And so I think what we're seeing is the development of Spencer Arrighetti, and I've liked what I've seen at times, and I think that he's going to be a very adequate starter. but he goes through his rough patches. So the Astros, there's not much record between these are two young pitchers. So we'll have to see. The Astros just got to hopefully get that 7th win in a row, get to 500. And Dana Brown, yes, I know we all mocked him and saying, yeah, this team will never get go on a winning streak, but they are streaking now. They are actually streaking. So, guys, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. And thank you for making us part of your daily routine. We will see you tomorrow, and go Astros.
Man, you shut it down early. 40 minutes and 2 seconds.